Hello everybody, good afternoon. We have a update with brother Philip Ong from, his expertise. We call him Dr. Phil here.
No doctor.
But there's recent events and he can kind of go into detail of what's happening with the fissures and what's happening with the fissures on the bottom part of 17. So without further ado, Mr. Philip Ong.
How's it? So the kind of summary update of what's been going on, we can kind of divide things into two phases now. The initial phase that first came through and opened all the initial cracks, all the way up until, let's call it, up until 1920. That was all kind of the preliminary stuff. Now that the main volume of lava has arrived, it's been coming out 2022. That's put out the big flow that's made the first ocean entry. And the last, maybe 3 days ago, 6 and 13 opened up and they put out a big flow that made an ocean entry also. And in the last couple days, maybe day and a half, we've seen this new spot over here, 721, this area open up again as well. So, and that's put out a flow that's building a big perch pond in this area. It's spilling over and infringing on all the streets on this side and unfortunately burning a lot of houses there. But it's also pouring out a big volume to the north, which now is all the way across Kahukai. Right, so this flow with as much volume as these ones have put out, we were just guessing, but if that continues, it's actually going to flow north on the other side of PGV and cross 132 over here. So that's the next thing to expect. This is all downhill of Nanavale, right? But still not that far away. Pohuiki Road would be right just past the Pohuiki Road junction. So that's what we can expect with this low if it keeps going. And unfortunately, a lot more houses were in the way on this side as well. And that's where the evacuations are happening right now, is in this little area right here because of that threat. So long term, what we're seeing is once a big volume arrived, first a big output here, then here, now here. We wouldn't be surprised if it keeps moving up the rift. We don't know what's going to happen. We're just going to wait and see. But where lava's come out of cracks before, the same eruption is a likely place it can come out again. Right, the ground is already cracked and weak there. So, and we know it's come up already. So
yeah, so another thing too that you can see on this map, so everybody's wondering how big the East Rift Zone, so you can see a bunch of craters and kind of a ridge right here that extends all the way down to Kapoho, and also some craters up here. So this is like on Highway 130 kind of going across and headed down to Kapoho, and you can see all the topography on the map of where all these extinct craters, but all of this is all the East Rift Zone. And one of the questions that came up is, Philip, is it possible that anywhere on the Rift Zone could see some fissures opening up?
The short answer is yes, but the pattern so far has been very well behaved. Everything coming up with this crack right here, right, this big, everything's been in a straight line. So I'd be a little surprised, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. Now we know that there's cracks happening all through here, and it just happens to be this is the crack lava has found the easiest way up and through, but all the other cracks are also opening and moving as well. If lava's got an easy way out, it shouldn't need to change that, right? Now the caveat is if so much lava comes in that it has to come out more than one crack, then that's a possibility as well. We just don't know if that's going to happen or not. So not to scare anyone, but if it doesn't happen in this particular eruption, then at some point in the next eruption, anywhere in this range is fair game. So it could be that the next eruption comes up on this side, right? Whether it's in 5 years or 10 years from now, or whenever it happens, 50 years from now. Anything in here is all fair game, unfortunately.
So we've been, investigating this few cracks that is above Highway 130. It's actually right in this area where Highway 130 is, right here, or actually right in this area. And we've been noticing some cracks being developed in the last 24 hours Mocha side, or this side of Highway 130. So the possibility of some lava pretty much erupting uprift is pretty high, right, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we gotta wait and see how far these things keep backing up to the west, but they could easily come out new cracks that lava hasn't come out before as well. Yeah, that's important to say.
And another thing too, why is the reason why it's backing up? Could it be because it's slowing down, or just so much lava is actually pumping into the system that down here created a pinch with all the stickier lava from 1955 that had stopped the flow from going down and made it, you know, clogged it there.
Right. There's a pinch here. I don't think we know exactly why. It could be exactly what you said, but we just, you know, don't know. But it doesn't matter. The fact that the pinch is there means it's basically so much coming in, and it can only get out so fast from these areas, right? So it's getting out as fast as it can here. We've seen a little bit of drop in the mission from 22, but not that much. It's still putting out a lot of lava, as is 613 complex, and now here as well. So it seems like there's so much coming in that the output is not decreasing substantially, maybe a little bit, but I mean, they're essentially all growing, and you know, there's so much coming in. It's basically back pressurizing it, and the pressure is building back up the fissures.
So we could see, you know, all these fissures being developed right now, and also be experiencing more fissures erupting sooner.
That's right.
And so, but still, these fissures could be still erupting at the same time.
Right. I mean, at this point, we see. It's probably, I think, the best case scenario is a lot of that's coming out can all come out. These places that's come out already and bulldozed already, right? And limit the destruction to those areas. But the worst case is it cracks open all the way over here, and then these flows go all the way through and pick out a lot of Leilani that hasn't been affected yet.
Because, so, you know,
by lava directly.
From what this map is showing, if it breaks out here, all the lava is actually going north.
Yeah, all the lava would come north, and then it would downhill becomes in this direction towards PGV. So everything kind of funnels in this direction across 132 around Nana Valley, and then towards the ocean, mostly through very rural area.
So these blue lines is the steepest descent lines. So those on topography, that is actually the lowest point in the land,
right,
and heading to the ocean.
Yeah, that's our best prediction of where the lava will go, right? And not counting the fact that lava can change the terrain as it goes as well.
And if you see these ones pretty much followed those topography lines, and you can see it right under it, here, and also around here, going down to the ocean. So it's actually, and all these flows are actually following these, you know, topography lines or steepest descent lines.
Yeah, that's a really useful tool to try to figure out where the flow will go if it keeps flowing from where it's coming out now. Yeah.
So a lot of these flows on this side, when we took our overflight, so this one here and this one here is pretty much not active, inactive right now, but it could spur to be active again, right?
It could, although I think that anything beyond 20 right now is basically dying off still, right? So, you know, even though the report out is 17 is still spattering weekly, it's not nearly what it was before. It's not making all the booms and explosion sounds that was just keeping everyone awake all night as much. So that seems to be slowing down as well, and I think it really is because, I mean, that's kind of a separate pocket of magma, and the main surge of the Wajima lava from Pu'o and Halimau is coming out here, and now here.
Okay, so that's what's our recent activity. So a lot of lava flow is still from these flows here. I think it was 3, 4, even 1 was active today, and 21. So all these fissures are still active, and what's happening is it's ponding right in this area, right, Phil?
That's right. Yeah. So it's building a giant pond, which is kind of spilled over and raised the edges of the pond and made a big perch pond complex, which is now sitting something like 40 or 60 feet above street level. So the areas that are not covered by lava now, they're at huge risk because that pond can overflow the edges and flow downhill very quickly and affect some of these areas which are, you know, we used to be on top of a hill, now is actually the bottom of the hill because the lava's piled up so high next to it.
So these ponds is pretty much, if those walls break, it's like kind of flash flood. So that's what we've been seeing last night. Yeah, that's what we've seen last night. That's why the lava was flowing towards Kaupili, Ho'okupu, in a fast, Mohala in a fast rate because of these ponds breaching or even breaking through, and those flows kind of flowed, you know, almost a quarter mile in probably like a couple hours. So you know, that's the dangerous factor, and that's what's happening now in Leilani. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask some questions. Also, how about, you know, there's a lot of activity up at the summit also in Halimau. So Halimau is very active, seeing multiple eruptions today, this morning.
Collapses and
Yeah, so
right.
and there's a couple of pictures that I seen from a bunch of people in Volcano that looks like there's two plumes coming out of Halimau.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. I haven't
And
seen
that
this
could
yet.
be because of, you know, massive collapses.
Right, from
on
different
the
sizes.
conduit.
Yeah, there was an interesting signal on the tilt meter today. It shows that there could have been another big explosion, and there's certainly been a lot of earthquakes in that area, the summit especially. So it's continuing to sink and collapse, you know, as the magma is leaving the system. And I think the fear for the big explosion is still very much a concern, you know, because those conduit walls we hope don't collapse all the way to choke it all the way off. But it could certainly happen at any point. Right?
I got a question from John Kamanu. How does this affect the Helena Pali slump?
So I wish I had my pictures working. My pictures are not working today, but the Helena Pali slump is basically the area that's the ocean side of the rift zone on the surface of the island. So it's kind of shaped like a scallop, right? It kind of comes up and scallops out under the ocean, something like that, right? And it allows a movement of the rift zone to push the land oceanwards, yeah? Now, it does move quite a lot, sometimes without any kind of earthquakes or ground shaking at all. But when it does move catastrophically, like the worst case situation is magnitude 7, 8 earthquake, right? That's what actually happens. Like that's what's happened in the past many times. You know, our 6.9 was like a small version of that. So the biggest one in 1975, which we now calculate as a 7.7 magnitude, that's essentially the catastrophic failure of that slump. It's not going to keep going indefinitely all the way into the ocean. You know, it's kind of got the wrong shape. There's a lot of friction down there, right? So you know it's a huge piece of land. So it's not going to keep sliding uncontrollably, is what we believe. You know, not just now. The point has come up that because we don't see rubble on the seafloor, doesn't mean it's impossible. That's true. You know, it just means it hasn't happened yet. It means of all the chances of collapses that all the pieces of the island have had so far, this one has not taken that chance. So it doesn't mean it can't happen, but why hasn't it happened so far? That's something to keep in mind as well. So it's definitely not impossible. Things do happen that we've never seen before. You know, we don't know it all, but we can only go on what we see has happened before. And that's what we're going on.
So another thing too, I can answer. There was a question: is there ponding near PGV? As from what I've seen today, yes, there is ponding near PGV. It's within, I would say, half a mile, a third of a mile from PGV. But it's right outside their property line, but a third of a mile from the actual plant itself. And we've seen some ponding, but majority of those ponds are actually headed towards the ocean. But there's some overflow that headed towards PGV, but it stopped numerous times. It flowed about, you know, looking at about 100 yards and then stalled out. And then those ponds, where it reached over, it made the ponds higher. And then all of a sudden it's just kept on going towards the ocean. But the possibility of it going to PGV is very high, right?
Absolutely, yeah. One thing what struck me when I was looking at PGV is actually built on a fairly steep slope. So even though on a map it might look like it's right there, it's not as easy for it to advance that last distance towards PGV. So at this point it seems equally or more likely that this new flow from these new fissures are going to come around PGV from the other direction, right? More so than the ponding that's happened already affecting PGV from where it is. So it could actually be, the flow is on one side, one can come around the other side and essentially isolate it, right? And that seems the most likely thing that happens at this point. Right?
And then start building around and around and around.
Right. So the concern has to be, if there is no more road access into the plant anymore, which is something that could happen soon.
So another thing too, another question, there's alternate routes. Hearing a lot of stuff on National Guard on doing airlift evacuations, but the breaching of Highway 130 is so possible. And how possible? What is the percentage on? I would say a high percentage.
Yeah, I can't give you a chance, but I'd say that if it comes out of the ground above 130, whether it's it doesn't have to be right on 130, it can be uphill of 130, flow downhill across the highway, and you're equally cut off. Right. Yeah. So it's not just one place. It's like there's a whole range of area where it could erupt, where it can come downhill and cross the highway. So we should prepare for that to happen. We can always hope it doesn't, but it's still very much a possibility. So what I would hate is that people are not ready for the possibility and wait till the last minute something like that happens.
There's another question from our lady. Are you married?
Yes, I am married.
So I talked to USGS today of Halemaumau lava and Pu'u'o lava has made it to Leilani. What do you think? The lava from Pu'u'o and Halemaumau made it already?
Yeah, I'd say that the volume coming out of the fissures, especially as one in the last few days, the one that put out these flows to the ocean so quickly, that one and now this one, to me, combined with the fact that it's all hot, gassy Pu'u'o lava at the surface, all of it all together adds up to the fact that if it's not all Pu'u'o lava, it's mostly Pu'u'o lava, and that's really all that matters.
Okay. And I talked to a couple of the USGS guys and a couple of the pilot that flies the USGS guys, and they've been monitoring the amount of output from these fissures per hour. And what they told me is it's 3 craters that is combined. So it's Pu'u'o, Makaupuhi, which is west of Pu'u'o, and Halemaumau. Makaupuhi is a huge crater also, right?
Makaupuhi is currently the biggest crater in the East Rift Zone, yes.
So that crater had some lava stored under it also.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's bigger than Halemaumau. So the amount of lava that is coming out that they recorded is not even close to what the percentage of how much lava was stored under 3 other craters. So it's just a small percentage of lava that had come out from these flows. So there's tons of lava still. That's why there's a lot of lava backing up the rift.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to us like it happens in slow motion, but it really is that way, right? I mean, it can take half a day or a day for these things to propagate. So it could easily be that we're just seeing the next phase of the pattern, right? I mean, the first phase took 2.5 weeks, right? And now the next stage, the most fluid phase of lava so far, is just beginning. Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, another question was, do you think the 1840 lava flow also has a reservoir? What do you think, Phil? Could the 1840 be present here?
There are probably pockets of lava underneath the rift zone everywhere, right? All from different age eruptions. So 1840 is definitely a possibility. It's probably exists down there somewhere. We have actually heard theories that this 17 fissure could actually be tapping 1840 lava. So I don't know if that's it but it's definitely down there somewhere, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that's our afternoon update with Philip Ong. And
we can try to do another update at some point. I gotta be getting a lot of questions like on Messenger and other things. We'll try to have a session at some point to address all of those.
Yeah, let's do that. So with that being said, another update, Kahukai Street has been breached from Mohala and Kaupili. So that, on the Kahukai side, lava had flowed over Kahukai. So immediate evacuation was ordered earlier today. Yes.
Can I talk about what else they do? Yeah.
Okay, go right in. Oh yeah.
So one thing, people have asked me what am I actually doing now before I've been spending all my time down here volunteering. Yeah. So what I've been doing is actually putting together an app, which is a introduction to the volcano, so people can learn how the volcano has acted in the past and understand what it might be. It also right now acts like a virtual tour of the park. I know the park's closed for a lot of people. And so I've just put the app for sale. It's called Eruption Lens. It looks like this. It's on the App Store right now for $5. And we're donating $1 of every sale back to Pu'uhonua Upuna, just so you guys know. So if you guys want to support Pu'uhonua and me spending my time here, then you can do that by supporting the app. So let me show you just a brief example of what it might look like at Halemaumau Crater right here.
So go ahead and check out his app on anybody's app store or your phone.
Yeah, here, let me get it going. So, well, I'll give you guys a live preview later, but essentially, we have all these different viewpoints across the Volcano National Park, right, where you can see where there have been different eruption sites across the East Rift Zone, Southwest Rift Zone, different places in the park of where you might see the last time these places erupted, right? And that's how, before this eruption happened, we're teaching people what could actually happen on the island. So I'll post a link on my page as well, but just wanted to throw that out there. If anyone wants to support us by supporting the app, that'd be awesome.
Oh, some people bought the app already.
Thank you so much.
With that being said, we'll be back later on tonight. This is myself and Phil, and we like to say this: stay classy.
Guna.
All right. Hello, everybody.